Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I have a few rather interesting items, I think, that I picked up at a recent estate sale that I hope you'll be interested in. If you've watched some of my videos, you know that I'm interested in precision equipment, instruments like drawing instruments, slide rules, things like that. And a couple of these items I think qualify. I think they're very interesting. I don't quite understand how they work, but they're really neat, I think. And another item as well. So let's just get right into the video. Here we go. I think this is a pretty neat item here. This is like a set of Sheffield screwdrivers, wood handle screwdrivers, in a presentation box. I think it's pretty cool. I'm not sure what those are. Walnut, maybe? I don't know. I don't think they've ever been used. I think this is mainly like a display item. Anyway, they need absolutely nothing. This was loose. This piece right here. Let me move this a little. This piece right here was loose, so I glued it back. This is plexiglass. It's not glass or acrylic of some kind. I took it out, cleaned it up. There's a few really light scratches, so I used some Novus on it. And I like it. Haven't quite decided what I'm going to do with it yet. I don't really have room for any more display items. I may send this on down the line. So anyway, I think it's pretty cool. Those of you that have watched some of my videos know that I really like precision instruments. Like vintage drawing instruments, slide rules, things like that. I didn't know exactly what these were when I bought them. I think I gave $2 for both of them, which I think is a bargain if you like this sort of thing. I need to investigate more. These are, I believe, vintage navigation computers, they're called, slide rules, and they have to do with plotting courses, bearings, and distances, all on sectional and whack charts. So you sailors and pilots out there probably know exactly how these are used. I'm going to study up on it a little bit. I just love this kind of stuff. I think it's very interesting. I'm going to learn a little bit more about how they work. I have several items of this kind that, pardon the interruption, I have several items similar to these items that belong to my father that he used when flying missions during World War II. And I think this kind of stuff's really cool. Anyway, here's one of them. This is the Jeppesen PJ1 plotter, rotating circular protractor. And I will study this to learn more about it later. Anyway, it's in really perfect condition. I'm not going to do anything to it. Alright, this one is the Jeppesen Slide Graphic Computer model CSG2A. Jeppesen and Company, Denver, Colorado. Comes in a leather case. The leather case is open at the end, you can see. The stitchings come loose. I fixed a slide rule case similar to this once in another video, and rather than try to restitch this and probably make it look worse than when I started, my plan is to put a thin bead of contact cement along here and just glue it and leave that original stitching there. This is not going to get any hard use, at least while I own it. So after I do that, then I'll probably saddle soap the case and put some neat's foot oil on it and call it good. Now, the computer itself is pretty much stuck. So I'm going to have to be real careful here. There's gunk in various places. I think these are screws. So I'm going to carefully clean it up. Here's a pivot right here. And I'm going to have to get the magnifier out and see if I can figure out the best way to do this. I got it to wiggle just a little bit, but I don't want to try to move it too much. So that's my plan. Let's see what happens next. Alright, we'll let that dry for a while and then stick them together. Alright, we'll let that dry a little bit, and then we will either give it some Lexol or some neat's foot oil. This stuff's pretty old, so I'll have to see if it's still any good. Anyway, we're going to let that dry first. Okay, we'll let that soak in for a while. And we'll be on to the next step. Here's the leather slipcase after some repair and treatment. I used some saddle soap and some Lexol, and repaired this as best I could without restitching. I think the contact cement will hold okay. I mean, this is going to be, it's not going to be, it's not going to experience anything except light duty, taken out of the case and looking at it every now and then. So there's the case. Now, for our next victim on the operating table here. I'm not sure exactly how this works. It seems to be stuck. I mean, it's reasonable to me to think that this should move, but I noticed that there's some gunk of some kind in various places. Now, I don't know where that came from. Maybe it's residue from being in the case all these years, I suppose. I mean, after all, this is an analog slide rule computer. I would assume, I'm not a pilot or a navigator, I would assume nowadays most of that stuff is digital. So somebody out there enlighten me, you pilots and mariners. Anyway, I am going to first try to get it freed up a little bit. I'm going to have to be really careful because I don't know, there may be some kind of calibration or something going on. I don't know. Although I'm not going to be using it for flying or anything. It's going to be just mainly a display and conversation piece. So I'm going to first use some dental picks and kind of clean this up a little bit. And then we'll decide what to do at that point. After some very careful work with the dental picks, I got it to move just a little bit. Not much, but I believe now that this black gunk that was on there was like dried up grease of some kind. And what I'm going to do is loosen these screws just a little bit. If I can get them to turn. Here's that one turned a little. And this one. Not going to take them out just yet anyway. Well, I'm not sure if that was a good thing or not. Yeah, there it goes. All right. I think maybe the thing to do at this point would be to carefully remove these screws, and I am going to assume that these things will come up loose and this will lift out. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this with the fan on. It's really hot in here, so sorry about the fan noise, but it can't be helped. So I really don't know what I'm doing here, but I guess we'll find out together. Right there. Spring. Alright, before I get too carried away here, I'm going to lay this out a little bit better on a better work surface, work area, so I can kind of remember how things go back together. So let me bring you back after we do that. Alright. We'll just carefully put the parts so we remember how to put them back together. Put this right up here. Now, interesting. That just slides right out. How does this work? Does it slide? Looks like it's supposed to. Alright, I'm going to have to ponder this a little bit. I don't want to get too carried away and break something. So, let me work with that a little bit. I've very carefully slipped an X-Acto blade under here and ran it all the way around very carefully, and I was able to get it to move. Not very well, but it does move. I'm not quite sure what, if anything, to do to make that easier to move. I just don't know yet. I may very carefully apply some silicone lubricant under there. Not much, just a little bit. I don't think I want to put any grease under there. I don't know. Anyway, I'll have to think about that. It seems that it should move easier than that. So let me ponder that, and I'll bring you back when I figure something out. Okay, here is a last look at these items. This is the Sheffield screwdrivers in a presentation box. Nice, I like them. Didn't do a thing to them. They were in such good shape. Here's a Jeppesen PJ1 plotter. Rotating circular protractor. I believe it's used for aeronautical plotting, or possibly maritime. I'm not sure. Anyway, I just think it's really cool. Here it is. Didn't do a thing to this. It's in really good shape. Now I'm going to move this out of the way. This is the Jeppesen Slide Graphic Computer model CSG2A. I did some repair and a little bit of cleanup on the case, slip case. All the dials work now. At least they're movable. So everything moves. Now, don't ask me how this works or what it does, but if there's any vintage pilots out there, I'm sure they know what this is and how it works. I believe it's used in aeronautical navigation. Yeah, like I said, I suspect a lot of that's digital nowadays, but I think this is a really cool item. I love stuff like this. So, there you have it, my friends. I thought this was a nice little tool haul, and I hope you enjoyed seeing these items. Well, I hope you enjoyed that look at a couple of vintage analog navigation aids, and a really neat set of Sheffield screwdrivers in a presentation box. So with that, we'll just wrap this video up. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you'll comment and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye now.